Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of the Capes and Lunatics. This time, we have a huge guest who had a huge week this week. All right, everyone. Miss Annie Chang from Peacemaker. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. So before we get into all the spoilers and everything, I kind of want to go back to the beginning and start. When did you first get involved with the show? Like, when did you find out you got the part? Because I believe they announced the show, I think, before the Suicide Squad movie even came out, correct?
Yeah, I got an audition for it, maybe, I think, like October-ish, or I honestly can't remember, but I feel like it was sometime around the second half of 2020, yeah. And at that time, you know, I know time is weird right now, but you know, COVID had already hit, so like you weren't auditioning in person at all. So it's been very weird for actors. You just like film yourself and send it away, and you don't know if anyone watched it. You don't know what happens. So I had auditioned. It just came across. I didn't know anything really about it. They were very under wraps about what it was about. So all I knew it was James Gunn, and I was like, well, that's all I need to know. I'm interested. So I sent in a tape. They gave me some additional scenes. I sent in another one as a callback. And then, spoiler alert, they gave me the note. They were like, you're an alien. And I was like, oh, okay. That was different than what I thought. And then I had a callback with him, like, you know, and the team over Zoom. And then I found out, like, I think within the week that I had gotten it. And then I was just getting ready to go to Vancouver. So it was this weird thing where it's like I hadn't really formally in person met anyone beforehand, you know, which is crazy and wild, but also amazing that you can do that now.
So that was going to be another big question. So you knew prior to even shooting anything that what happened in episode 6 was going to happen?
No, I had no idea.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't even give us the full scripts. They only gave us a few scenes that we were auditioning with. So all I knew was that I was a detective. That's all I knew. And then when they wanted to call me back for it, they gave me something from a later episode that is not out yet. And they were like, you know, by the way, you're an alien. And I was like, what does that mean? But then they were like, actually, during the callback, he was like, just kidding, you're not. Just be a person. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, basically, butterflies are going to fly in your brain, but just don't worry about it. I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea where it was going. It wasn't until after I got the part and I got all the scripts that I was like, whoa, which was a nice surprise.
Like, are you a fan of any of the comics or any of the movies or anything like that?
I have to be honest. I mean, I loved James's Suicide Squad. You know, I'm a fan of James, Guardians of the Galaxy, but I honestly, before this and even now, have never been super a huge comic person. When I think about growing up, like, I don't even know if this counts, but I had Archie comics.
That counts.
That was what I loved. It counts? Okay, great.
That's her
I had
favorite,
a lot of Archie comics. Did you ever, I don't know if you ever used to read them, but in the middle, they would have like photos of fans with all their comics, you know? I wanted so badly to be in it. I would like ask my mom to take pictures of me with all my comic books, but I loved Archie. Which is funny because Lachlan, who plays Fitzgibbon, is on Riverdale, so it kind of came full circle. But no, this world is not something that I knew anything about. I had never done any superhero stuff, so it's been a really nice change, and I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do.
All right, and before episode 6, the big question I wanted to ask you for a while now. Okay, that opening intro dance scene, is that as fun to shoot as it looks, or after like the 50th take, are you just like, ugh, again?
No, it's so fun. I think every time somebody was laughing and cracking up, especially because a lot of people weren't doing the moves right, and we would start being like, you didn't do it on the right count. It was extremely fun and silly. And at that point, you know, a lot of us hadn't even quite worked together yet. So when we actually shot it, it was such a nice day for everybody to come together and do that together. So it absolutely was. And I'm amazed that they got takes of nobody laughing.
That you know of.
That I know of. It's probably just hiding, in the back.
Okay. So I think we already spoiled it, but okay, everyone, spoilers from here on out for episode 6.
I'm sorry.
So no, that's fine. That's fine. No, so yes, and
we're a spoiler podcast.
Okay, great.
But yeah, well, Charlie and I were just talking when we were waiting for you and Lilith. We were saying, you know, we're both kind of sad that we lost Detective Sophie Song this time. I mean, I think for you it's great because you get to play 2 different characters, but it's like, yeah, I mean, we were really liking Sophie and all, you know, now she's gone for good, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know how stories
okay.
You never know if something's for good or not for good, right? Even when you're sure that they're gone, you're like, wait, what? So, on one hand, I was like, oh, I love Sophie. She's like such a badass in her own way. You know, she could easily leave Augie in prison and she helps him out, even though he sucks, you know? So I just think there's something about her that's really cool that she really does what's right outside of what she thinks or how she feels about something, you know, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, as an actor, I was like, oh, you want me to turn into the bad guy? Look, I gotta say, I never thought anyone would ever pay me to be a villain. So I was like, sign me up. It was very fun.
I mean, like I said, I hate losing the character, but it's great for you because, again, I think Sophie was like the most moral person on this show because, I mean, even this racist for how many episodes who basically, you know, said the nastiest things, and now she's like, oh, well, he's not guilty, so, you know, gotta get him out of jail, even though, you know, no one would have blinked an eye if she just would have left him there. So basically, you go for from the most moral character on this show to the big bad. So that's a nice little range.
Yeah, it reminded me of Phil. I was like, no, not a Fred Merkel, please, anything but a Fred Merkel.
I know.
Broke my heart, but it was interesting. So
I know it's I didn't think of it that way, but I guess you're right because even like, you know, like Adebayo is a good person, but you know, she does plant
the diary,
and she's kind of, you know, she, and not even like it wasn't easy, you know, she had to go through all this. Sophie has to go through all this effort to get this like total just horrid person out. Yeah, I guess you're right. It is sad to sort of lose that, but I do think what James does so well in the show is like even the people that aren't great, you end up caring for them, you know, like Peacemaker is like not a very good guy, and neither is Vigilante, but I love them when I watch it and I root for them, and I'm like, why am I rooting for you? You're terrible. But I think that's what James does really well, which I love.
Yeah. I often describe Peacemaker as sort of the ultra-violent version of Chance Gardner from Being There. I don't know if you're familiar with that film, but Being There, it's about a sort of a dim-witted person who sort of falls up into the higher echelons of society, and that's sort of how I see the Peacemaker character. Although I have to say that John Cena has actually delivered very well and shown a lot of subtlety in his performance as well. By the way, I do want to let you know that Lilith is actually a very huge Archie fan.
Yes, she is.
I know.
So you guys have an immediate connection there.
We'll have lots to talk about.
I'm just waiting to see all the Sophie Song cosplayers, because when I was online, I think it was on Twitter, I saw, I don't know if there's some website where they're like, oh, here's a link where you can buy the coat that Annie wore on the show, and I'm just like, oh my god, are people going to be people are going to be at conventions wearing that coat with blood on half of their face? So you've made it when people are cosplaying.
I can only hope. It would be so fun.
I did see on Twitter you said, don't taste that fake blood, it tastes bad. So what does that taste?
Oh, it's not just corn syrup anymore?
I mean, it's a mix of I don't know what, but it is very thick, like corn syrup, because it can't just look like water or whatever. But yeah, it is sweet, but I know that they were like mixing some stuff. So I don't know what's in it completely, but it's really gross when it's so thick. And it was like hot that day. And then, I would just lie on the ground and they would pour it in my mouth. And they were like, now cough it up as hard as you can. And I was like, this is weird. And there were moments where I felt like I was actually choking because it's just me trying to cough it up, So yeah, it's pretty gross. And you're nervous because you're like, if I don't make it look good on this first take, we're going to have to wipe everything and change everything and fix my makeup and do it again, But yeah, I feel like I was just tasting a weird corn syrupy mixture for weeks.
No, you did a great job, because I felt bad. I was like, oh god, she's dying, and she's not dying like peacefully. It's rough.
Dies peacefully on this.
Oh no. But at least,
don't let the doves fool you, Phil.
I know, but at least some people go quick,
So I do want to ask you this, because as I said, Phil and I were both bonding over how much we loved Detective Song. I liked her wittiness. I liked the way that she plays with Augie while they're in there, and especially in the fact that no matter how much he wants to be just a complete jerk, she is already sort of one step ahead of him, and is effectively showing that your insults aren't very good, and I can roast you better than you can roast me. And it always gets me wondering in a show like this, because, it is James Gunn. How much of that are you just, you get the script and you read it and you're just that good at delivering it like it's just natural? And how much of it is just on the fly, you do like 20 takes and you call them 6 different white guys?
It is 100% James's writing. He's so funny. And over the course of between when I auditioned and when I actually ended up shooting it, he had changed the names. Like, I think he had gone through many names as far as what would be funniest. So no, that's definitely all him. Which is interesting because many people on this, in the cast are so funny. Like, John can just, that scene where he just keeps naming people and it just goes on forever. Like John could do that with no script, though. He really could just fire away a bunch of people like that and it would work. But I think James even like tweeted something about how like maybe like 1 or 2% of the dialogue in the whole show is improvised, but the rest of it is it's really his genius. I can see little bits that he kept in sometimes, but it's definitely him. I think he also just wrote it in a way that's so easy to come out of your mouth as an actor. It's not, it just sounds exactly like how you would talk. So it's all him.
So how much time did you get to spend with your partner? Did you guys like work out some stuff before you even got to the, behind the in front of the camera and just working?
Yeah. I think that the first time that I even met Lachlan playing Fitzgibbon, the first time I met him was the day that we shot the scene where we go pay Augie a visit and I call him a fork. And I remembered feeling slightly nervous because I was like, oh my God, it's Robert Patrick, right? But then B, also I was like, we should already have a rapport and a chemistry, and I've never met Lachlan. I hope I like him. You know, the worst thing is when you get stuck on a show and you're like, oh, I don't like this person that I'm always acting with. And the nice thing is that the moment I met Lachlan, he was clearly so warm and so kind. He's the kind of guy where he would show up on set and then everybody would be smiling. Like, he just makes everyone feel good and happy, and everyone likes to make fun of him, and he teases them back, you know. So the rapport, I think, felt very easy immediately from the beginning, just because he's a great guy. More so, I was like, you know, I don't think Sophie is afraid of Augie, but I was like, but Annie is very intimidated by Robert Patrick. I was like, well, Annie needs to pretend that she is not intimidated, because he has so much presence. He's a cool guy too, but he, you know, you can see it in the performance. His energy is like so intense that I was like, I'm scared. I have to act not scared. But yeah, we didn't meet until that first day, which is kind of crazy, but it all worked out.
And I guess Sophie had affection for him. Is that what Goff said?
Yeah, you know, I think Lachlan asked me at some point. He was like, "Do they have a thing?" Like the Sophie, and I was like, "In your dreams." but I was like, "What do you mean, like a thing?" He was like, "I don't know, just like, is there, you know?" And I was kind of like, "I don't think there was like, I think affection as in like they were partners for like a long time. You really trust them. They literally have to have your back and protect you, you know, and vice versa. So I think there's a really special bond that they have. I don't think there was any attraction, but you'll have to ask Fitzgibbon. I don't know if he's harboring any sort of secret crushes here or there. But on Sophie's
side, for a little Benson and Stabler sexual tension.
I just think, you know, they. Yeah, I just think that they were really close. That scene where Sophie's, you know, turning into a butterfly and he's like cradling her. I remember when we were shooting it, I was like, oh, I feel like really, Lachlan too. He was like, I feel really sad. Like I was like, yeah, it is, you know. They do have a special bond. They're like, I think they're just really, really close in a way that's different than friendship, but maybe not, in my mind, not totally romantic.
Oh yeah, I like the interplay between the two of you. Like Lil said, I would like to see a spinoff, do a prequel, HBO Max. Like, give me a police procedural with those two. Come on.
I would also love,
she started off in Gotham PD. Who knows?
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I'll just throw it out there.
They have a Gotham PD show coming. Yes.
HBO, you listening? There are great ideas happening here. Okay.
Yes. I did want to ask you one question. Now, this is not your first cop. You did play Molly Chen on Shades of Blue. And how would you compare the two characters?
You know,
yeah.
No. Please finish. I didn't mean to.
No, I mean, they strike me as very different characters. You know, one is, you know, fresh out of Quantico and, you know, sort of the star pupil. And, you know, obviously, you know, Detective Song is just, I feel walks into it already over it. You know, but like, how did it strike you as an actress? Just thinking back is, you know, as you look at how you've played certain kind of characters in the past, and how do you feel like the evolution of one leads to the other?
Yeah, it's funny because they both are obviously in law enforcement, but I find them to be vastly different. And I think that maybe if Molly from Shades of Blue, just like you said, you know, she was fresh out of, she's trying to prove herself. She's like a little unsure, you know, she feels kind of like not the experienced one. And I think maybe if you gave Molly like 10 years, she might turn into Sophie, you know, because she's like over it and nothing's working and the system is broken and I have to do everything around here. So in a way, I just think like, yeah, maybe if you gave her 10 years on the job, but I found them just to be super, super different. And then, you know, character aside, just as an actor, I didn't have any like real training for Shades of Blue. I didn't have to shoot a gun or do a lot of that. So it just wasn't totally necessary. Whereas for this part, I had a good amount of training, not only with firearms, but, for safety, but also just like, how do you clear a room and how would you approach a staircase if you're chasing someone? And so I think that there were just, it's funny, Annie is more experienced because I'm older and got to do, this training. And also just, you can tell in Sophie that she is just an experienced detective. She's been doing this for a long time, So it's kind of nice that I think that I've had that growth, that sort of like I as a person am matching the journeys of these people, which is fun. But other than the fact that they're both in law enforcement, I think they're wildly different people. Yeah.
And now you get to go very different. I mean, now you're queen of the butterflies.
Right. Yeah. That's how many shows do you get where you get to switch, being who you are halfway through. So it's pretty exciting.
Like I said, almost complete opposite. So you probably can't spoil this, but I was going to say, now that the alien's in there, now that you're a lot stronger, are we going to get a fight scene between you and John Cena? Are you going to throw him around the room?
You'll have to stay tuned. What I can say is that there was a very funny moment on set where I don't think this really gives too much away, where I have my hand on him. And they were like, Annie, can you put your hand like around his neck? And I did it. And they were like, no, around his neck. And I was like, oh, I am. I think you have forgotten that I am 5'4" on a good day. And John Cena's neck is larger. I was like, he was like, yeah, she is. It just might not look like it. So it was very, very funny. But you know what? Like, there's nobody better to do any sort of physical stuff with than John, right? With his background. I remember in college once I was doing a fight scene just like as practice, and I got punched in the face because the person got too close, because you're just learning and, in school. And I was like, if there's one person who would never accidentally hit anyone, it's going to be John Cena, right? Because that's his whole background, is like not actually, right, hurting people, but making it look like he is. So, but you'll have to wait and see.
Sounds like you get to do the fun stuff. Yep. Lilith, you're muted.
You're muted, Lilith. You're muted, Lilith.
She got it.
I know. I'm muted.
The dogs.
Besides your character, who's your favorite character on the show? Mine's Eagly, so it's okay if you want to say Eagly.
I love Eagly. Also, Eagly, just like the way that they did Eagly, I was like, it looks so good. Because when we were actually shooting it, you're just looking at nothing and you're like, what is
Not
this?
Not even a tennis ball?
No. I or like the butterflies, that was like, so is this a regular butterfly? Are we talking a monarch? And I was like, what kind of butterfly are we talking here? And so they had made one out of pipe cleaners, and they would be like, here he is flying around. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I love Eagly. I would say character-wise, I think Vigilante is my favorite.
Oh.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I like the different take on Vigilante for sure.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with the comics, but I was talking to someone who said that apparently originally in the comic, he's like a really scary killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Freddy does an amazing job. I'm like, I don't know how you are sweet and terrifying at the same time. Like, how do I feel bad for you, but you also just murdered someone,
That's sociopathology for you.
Yeah. I think he's probably my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Along those lines, how do you feel about Teal, and how does your character feel about Teal? Both of them.
I have never really seriously thought about teal. I think it is a nice color. My couch is teal. It can match many things. It is also, I suppose, do you like teal is a yes or no question. But that scene, it's like, that scene was so funny. What are your feelings on teal?
Oh, I love teal. So it's, I mean, to me, that's just
a teal lover.
I'm all about teal. My curtains are teal, so that should let you know where I am with teal.
It doesn't bother me when something is teal and people say it's green. It does bother me. So there's
Yeah,
also
I can
Men
see
and
that.
women see color different because of that hunter-gatherer evolution. So if it's a guy, I just let it slide. I'm not going to argue with a guy about color. They don't see shades of hues.
But speaking of the special effects, I was just like probably the funniest scene towards the end of the episode this week is just like, when your character's like drinking that stuff. I'm just the thing comes out of your mouth. I'm like, so are you just sitting there like this, like, and then they have to CGI the whole thing in, and
that is exactly how it happened. And then, the way that, when we shot that on the side of the little hill, obviously there's nothing in the sky. So I'm just like looking around and there's big ass like fans blowing in my face. And then it's just James on the God mic being like, and now they're approaching and you are their queen, now scream. And so it's very silly. Like if you think too much about it, what you're doing, you're like, what is life? This is really weird. And then he would be like, now hold the jar and just think of like a big tube coming out of your mouth. Just open your mouth really wide. Okay, wait, now move your head back an inch. Wait, now move it this way, and you're like, well, okay. So yeah, I didn't really know what it was gonna look like. It was just them guiding me. But yeah, it was really just going, and then trying to look convincing.
And what was your favorite moment for your character, or either one of your characters so far? Was it something in this episode or was it one of the previous episodes?
I think one of my favorite scenes is when Song and Fitzgibbon are in their headquarters and she smiles at him and then says, smiling feels different in every head, I remember when I read that, I was like, this is so creepy. And so interesting. I think that was one of my favorite acting moments. Generally speaking, I also really love when we're all just marching down the hall.
Oh, yeah, you
like,
look badass there. Yeah.
Yeah. And all the faces everyone's making just look so silly. That was a lot of fun. And they played the song when we did it, so you could really feel the mood of it, which I thought was smart. There's one other favorite moment, but it hasn't happened yet. So there's more to come.
Just tag us in the tweet when it happens.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll be like, this is the one,
guys. I'm very excited to see where this is going. I'm not gonna lie. It is, and like I said, I'm really hopeful in some form or another. Your character makes it to the end, and I'm hoping this is not the last we've seen. I hope this is not the end of Rico, as they say. So I'm very excited about where you go, where these characters go, and where this entire plot, where the butterflies wind up at the end of this, because it's exciting to me.
Yeah, it's these last, it's coming close to the end of the season, so I would say there are some more twists and turns, and if you thought everything was already going down now, it's like shit's gonna get real. So yeah, it's really fun. It was I think it'll be, hopefully for people, a satisfying ending to the show.
I don't think this. Hopefully, this isn't too spoilery. So for these last two episodes, is it good to be the queen and bark out orders and be? Is it fun to be evilly?
Yes, it is very fun, and I just it's funny when I told my parents that I was gonna be playing this part. I remember my dad said, "So what are you playing?" And I was like, "I'm playing a detective. I'm like a cop." And I remember he laughed and he was like, "You're the last person I would want showing up if I were in trouble. What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Thank you, Dad." But to his point, I think I've never. It was really exciting to get to do something and be so badass like this, and to get to have more time to do that is really, really fun. It's not usually the kind of stuff that I go out for or that I work on. So even though I think it's really fun, so it was really fun to get to do that for a little bit instead of it just being like I turned and then it's done. So you will see more of her as the boss.
If Joe Pesci has taught us anything, it's that you don't have to be big to be a BA. So
that's true.
Do we know if there's going to be a season 2 yet? I forgot to check Variety this week. But
As far as I know, I think it's very, very likely. I don't know if it's been fully greenlit yet. I also know that James was teasing online about another possible spinoff. Maybe he would follow another character. I don't know if you guys have hopes as far as who it would be. Do you have hope? Who?
Isn't it?
Well, I'm hoping for Detective Song. Just,
Exactly.
I mean, my big hope is that they get the butterfly out, she comes back, and she's ready for vengeance. That's my dream. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Obviously, Charlie, come on.
But
us.
I'm bad at predictions. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'll let James know that this is the consensus out there. So really, if he was planning on getting rid of me, just letting you know, we should give people what they want. So
they do want more. That is absolutely true.
I know I had high hopes that, if there was a season 2, you were coming back, and then I watched the episode last night, and I was like, oh, no.
But, in these stories, really anything can happen. There really are no rules, so.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't mean to be derogatory, but, they did that sort of thing on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was like, oh, the strike is in. Well, no, now we got the strike out. So now, you're fine now. It's fine. We said you couldn't get him out, but, in this case, we figured out a way we got you out. So, you get to live. Everyone else died. But that's okay.
But, I thought I saw that they said, I don't know if it was anything official, but I think season 2 is, like you said, it's pretty much almost assured, because I don't know what the numbers are, but it's a pretty good response. So
and critics, which is hard these days because the internet's so divisive.
Right.
Well, James Gunn says he's not going back to Marvel, so that tells you right there that he's feeling very positive about where he's at right now. So
I think it's a good fit. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I think so too. I think this is, honestly, I really want to see James Gunn do his Ambush Bug. I would love to see that, but I'm always pushing for Ambush Bug. That's just
doesn't matter who.
No, actually, I think he could do Ambush Bug very well. He has shown his love for Batmite. I know this. He knows the lore. He knows the work. He's done the due diligence.
Those little slices, when Peacemaker talks about, Superman's poop thing.
I think this might have been my favorite episode this week. I mean, between your scenes and then just like Peacemaker in the classroom,
I know. And what he calls every kid,
Yes.
Giving very Billy Madison.
Yeah, Erica, what?
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
But no, I mean, it's just a testament to you and the whole cast. Like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to like this series, but between James's writing, and I think everyone was like excellently cast. Everyone. Yeah, there isn't anyone.
And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that James has said, he told us on set, but I think he's also tweeted this, that he pretty much vets everybody that he casts. If he hasn't worked with them before, he'll call someone and be like, are they a good person or do they kind of suck? Right. And I think that everyone is a great actor. Yes. But part of what works so well too, is that everybody is just genuinely a good human being. And therefore everyone was having fun while they were doing it. I think it makes a big difference. It's like any other job. If you're stuck with a bunch of coworkers you don't like, then it's gonna be rough. So that's all thanks to James making sure that he got a really good group of people together.
You guys shoot in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, we did, which is beautiful.
And are you a LA girl or elsewhere?
No, I'm an LA girl. Yeah. Where are you guys based?
I'm in Florida.
Pennsylvania.
Newark, New Jersey, cradle of civilization.
How amazing that we can be all over and do this together. I'm always fascinated.
Vancouver is beautiful. Did you guys shoot in towards the fall, winter, or more of a spring?
We did January until I was done by the end of June. Yeah. But it was actually though, everyone that year was like, this is strangely a very warm,
mild. Yeah.
winter. So it really wasn't bad. I think it snowed just it's not like this year. It just snowed the tiniest bit and that's it. So I think overall the show wrapped sometime in July. I was done by the end of June, but overall sometime.
Oh, so you did get to see the beautiful season of Vancouver. That's nice.
It was gorgeous. I'm like, I would love to go back and work. I could see myself living in Vancouver. I absolutely loved it. So, and also weirdly, fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but Richmond, which is part of Vancouver, has the most, I'm Chinese, has the most Chinese people outside of China.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
If you did not know, Canada's other national language, aside from English and French, is Chinese. Which is why in Vancouver you will see Chinese written instead of French.
Oh.
Because in Vancouver they said, well, you know what? We don't have a lot of French people here. We will honor the secondary national language, which in this area is not French. It is Chinese. So
I did not
I'm
know
Canadian,
that.
so I have that. I have those roots. I know all the Canadian trivia.
I mean, the food there is great. Once I knew that, I was like, well, it's fine. I gotta go find all the good places to eat. But yeah, everything in Richmond, was all in Chinese. It was very cool.
Once again, HBO. She would like the work. Let's get her on more things.
If it's not a spinoff, I just say ship her over to GCPD. We can pretend like it's a prequel. It's fine.
Exactly.
You know what? She could even be a new character. It's fine. I'm sure they have Chinese detectives in Gotham.
At least one.
Yes, at least one. No, I was actually saying, you would make a great Joni DC if they do an ambush book film, but that's the continuity cop. But
I mean, she plays an alien now, for God's sake. She can easily handle a twin sister. Come on.
Although I do have to ask this now, and again, everything putting any kind of presumptions of what a person looks like aside, what Archie character would you like to play if you could bring any to life on the big screen?
Jughead.
Oh,
Always a good choice.
that is a fantastic choice. I would love your Jughead. I would love to see your Jughead.
I don't know why when I read it, I think, girls are always like, oh, Betty and Veronica, but Jughead was always my favorite. And having like food all over everything, I was like, that's me, is what I used to think.
He's the best character.
He's the best character, yeah.
Well, Ethel, and then Jughead.
Fair enough, yes. There's a good argument for that. But yeah, I love Jughead. I think he's really fun.
Was there any kind of like role or like a character whose occupation that you haven't played yet that you'd want to play?
Oh, a character's occupation.
Like a teacher, or I mean, you've played cops already. Doctor.
I guess I've played this, but it was a pilot that didn't end up moving forward. So I kind of consider it like I sort of played it. But I personally have a big love for office comedies, weirdly. Before, while I was trying to become an actor right outside of school, I worked in an office. I hated it. And so I think I understand a lot of just like what it feels like to be sitting in a cubicle and feel dead inside. And so I think it would be really fun to do some sort of like workplace comedy and some sort of office comedy at some point. That would be really fun for me. Generally, I think I love comedy, which is why I'm so glad that I got to work with James, because this has everything.
Oh yeah.
So you get to do a little bit of everything. But I guess maybe some very mundane, boring occupation would be fun.
So again, I mean, I'll try to keep this away from spoilers, but it's like now as the butterfly, do you kind of have some humor, even if it's like the straight man to John Cena's character or something?
Ooh, do I? I don't think so much, but I will say is this a spoiler? Maybe it's just because I was acting in it, but I don't feel like they're that bad. That's what I'll say.
Oh.
Oh, we've had that conversation, so.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that before I get in trouble.
No. And by the way, I just want to say that the whole line about how smiling is different on every human face, that's my favorite. I love that scene too. That is just, and it just, it encapsulates what it's like to be forced to play a role, which I really enjoyed. And this idea that, humans don't even think about smiling. They just smile, but it's like the entire process of smiling, it's all these muscles on your face doing all these weird contortions. And, you know, if that's not what your species does, it's really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never thought about it that way, as something as smiling, being like, why would people do that? And how do you do that if you don't feel anything behind it?
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's why they say, you know, it's you smile with your eyes, not your face, you know. At the same time, it's also that idea that I'm baring my teeth, and this is actually supposed to say, no, we're friends. See my big, sharp teeth?
Right. Yeah, I guess it is contrary, right? That doesn't quite make sense. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Just my own thoughts. I'm sorry.
No. I think that is funny, that it's like we're showing our teeth, but it's supposed to be a sign of like welcoming. But I guess if you're not a human, then why would you think it was welcoming? So it's very confusing. Yeah.
Humans are weird. Aliens lock their car windows when they roll by Earth. We all know this.
That is also my theory. I am pretty sure when people are like, oh, aliens are coming to Earth, I'm like, you kidding me? They've been here and they were like, bye. We'll let you guys just, you know, ruin yourselves and we'll just hang out here and eat popcorn, you know?
Exactly. Okay, I keep trying to lay the spoiler trap for you. Like, do any of your friends and family try to get spoilers out of you? Like, you know, it's like, oh, what's going to happen in the last 2 episodes? What's going to happen in the last 2 episodes, especially after this week?
My immediately family kind of knows, because I had, you know, told my parents about it. But funnily enough, most of my friends who are watching it are like, oh, this was great. What's going to happen? Don't tell me. And because I'm like, well, do you? And they're like, no, wait, I'm just going to ask you questions, but just don't say anything. I'm like, okay. Because I do think it's so fun to just figure it out, especially this day and age. Like, if you don't want spoilers, if you're not watching it at like 12:01 on Wednesday night, you have to like actively not look at your phone or look at anything, or else it's immediately going to get spoiled.
Oh, yeah. I'll be at work at like 9 a.m. and I'm looking, I'm like, man, why are there spoilers already?
Yeah. And your phone's listening to you, so it's going to send you stuff, right? Yeah. About the show. Mm-hmm. So it's even harder. Anyway.
Yeah. Little baby AIs. They don't know any better. They're just, you like this. Here's these things you like. It's like, no, not yet, though. I don't want them now.
Right.
Okay.
That's why you stay up till 12:01. You watch it, and you avoid the spoilers. The episodes fly by. Just absolutely, they do.
For you guys, right? East Coast, it's way later. So it's 12:01 Pacific time.
Yeah.
So 3 is hard.
All right, like I said, I was scrolling through your Twitter looking for, you know, just doing my homework. Okay, you have to answer to me. What was in your trailer? You said there's like weird stuff in your trailer. You're like, you never know what's in my trailer, because you guys were like looking out the door and stuff.
Oh. That, who posted? I think the Peacemaker handle had posted that. I think that actually it wasn't actually his trailer. It was in the set, it was Evan and Amber's apartment. Oh, actually, I think that's where that was. But it kind of looks like, like we're peeking in somewhere. But there were, you know, we weren't supposed to actually like take photos on set. But the set photographer, like Lachlan and I, were just kind of messing around, and she was like, "Okay, real quick, I'm going to take a picture." So she took a couple of pictures of us, and then she was like, "But don't post it until the show's running, or else I'm going to get in trouble." So we very purposefully tried to make it not so clear, but I think that was in Evan and Amber's apartment, and it was after they had messed it through, or was it Evan and Amber's? Yeah, I think it was. So it was just us goofing around.
So did you get to keep anything, like the badge or anything?
No, I don't think I got to keep anything. I did at some point. Peacemaker had so many fun things in his trailer. Little tchotchkes and whatever, that I would have loved to keep. But no, I didn't end up keeping anything. I think that for me, I usually don't ask to keep anything physical because this sounds so corny, but the best stuff is in here, you know, like it really is, like the experience of it and the relationships and the feeling of it, that like nothing physical is gonna top that, you know? That sounded so corny. We can move on from that.
No, that's beautiful. Nice. That just shows how like evolved of a person you are. You know, I don't need the thing. I already did the thing. You know, it's like, you know, it's like in The Doors when they say you'll never do the Ed Sullivan Show again, and it says, hey, we just did the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, it's the idea that it doesn't matter if it's gone. It was done, and I experienced it.
Yeah, and like when you think about like moments in your life where something really big happened, whether it was joyous or not, it's like half the time I can't even remember exactly what happened. I just remember how I feel, you know? Or sometimes I look at photos and I'm like, well, I don't know where this is, you know? So it doesn't matter that I took the photo. I think what matters more is like, I just want to enjoy it. And then I will remember that feeling for much longer than I'll remember what was actually there and what it looked like, you know? Yeah.
I wanted a story where HBO sent you a T-shirt or James sent you a T-shirt that says, I survived Robert Patrick.
I would love that shirt. That would be very fun. I don't know if such shirt exists, but my very sweet boyfriend did make me a cake that I had posted on Instagram.
Oh, is that the one that looked like the Peacemaker thing?
Yeah. That just said, like, I think it just said, like, fuck, it's Annie Chang or whatever with my head on it and like a Peacemaker thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is so hilarious and silly. It's probably like the best thing I've ever gotten. So.
Is your boyfriend a baker?
No. He the cake is from a very well-known bakery called Baskin Robbins.
Oh, yes.
It's an ice cream.
I've heard of them.
Nice.
Excellent work.
Yeah, but he did have to spend a good amount of time finding some photo of me and like photoshopping it in.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's
yeah,
very sweet.
Very
That's
sweet.
very, very sweet. I'm sure the cake was delicious.
It was.
What was it? Was it vanilla? Was it mint chip?
So if you've ever gotten, I take my ice cream cakes very seriously, by the way.
I'm sure you do.
As you should.
That's why I'm asking.
I do. Because like if you go to Ben and Jerry's, you can also get an ice cream cake, but it's just ice cream. There's no actual cake. It's just ice cream in the shape of a cake, which I'm kind of like, then why don't you just have ice cream? Baskin Robbins will do actually a layer of actual cake. So it was chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was cookies and cream ice cream on top of that. And then the frosting or whatever. So that's actually ice cream cake. Ice cream cake is not just ice cream in the shape of a cake.
I agree, 1,000%. And to be honest with you, Carvel, they put little like cake bits on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good.
Oh.
See, that's me. I don't think it's as good.
The
It's because
strawberry
it's not.
crunch is amazing from Carvel. What are you talking about?
Okay, you see, I grew up in the Midwest, not on one of the coasts where I guess Carvel is.
Every week, Annie. Every week.
Yeah.
These two.
You know,
We're like oil and vinegar. We don't mix.
They're like brother and
I
sister.
like an honest to goodness cake. Carvel, I appreciate a Carvel cake. Don't get me wrong, but the little crunchy cake bits on it, it's like I know what you're going for, but it's not a cake. It's like basically crumbled cookies. It's cookies. It's a cookie. It's an ice cream cookie, is what it is, and with the ice cream on the top end, and you know, it's not an ice cream cake like you get at Baskin Robbins. That's
Ooh, speaking of food, you did work with the Hot Pocket King himself, Jim Gaffigan, one time, and I love Jim Gaffigan. He's my favorite male-shaped potato, as he likes to say. How was that, or do you remember? I know that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I do remember it because I remembered. First of all, my introduction to Jim Gaffigan was also where he talked about Hot Pockets. Yeah. I remember being in college and we would all just repeat that joke like forever, you know? And so I was a little nervous because I love Jim Gaffigan and I was like, oh, you know, whenever you're working with someone that you really love and respect, you always feel so much more nervous, you know, because you have hopes of not seeming like an idiot. And so he was very lovely. His wife was also there, who is very smart and lovely. He was so nice, just like so normal and nice. I've been very lucky that I think that there are very few people that I've ever worked with that were weird or strange or not kind. But he was great. He's so funny. He would come up with jokes just like on the fly and try different things. And yeah, he was great.
That's good to hear. I love him, and it's so good to hear.
Yeah, he's so funny. And I think he's like also just a good person, which is great.
That's always good to hear, you know.
I know.
Especially
Although I
these
actually
days.
believe most people are good people, but that somehow really jerky people fall up the food chain somehow. I don't know how that happens, but
Yeah, I think that's a positive way to look at it.
that's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like all the people I work with.
Well, it'd be very weird if you. I was going to say, if you're talking about Lilith and Phil, it'd be very awkward if you just revealed right now that you didn't like them.
This isn't our work. This is our holy mission.
Oh well, I think that you guys are very, very good at it. So maybe it should be your
Thank
work.
you.
All right, now
Yeah.
I get to be here. You people hear that? Someone hire us. Yes.
Yeah. It's hard. I don't know. I think interviewing is hard. You know, I've been doing some of them, and you can really tell when it's easy. It just feels like you're like talking and hanging out with people. That's an art to like come up with stuff and feel the flow of it. I don't think I could ever do it. I'm always the weird person at the party that like doesn't know what to say after I say hi, and then I just stand there awkwardly and there are weird silences and then I just walk away. That's me. So to do what you guys are doing, I think is very hard and it takes talent. So yeah, this is very fun and you guys are easy to hang with.
Well, that's cool. Because you may not realize this, but you've been doing all the work.
Exactly.
Like when you count the words said, you've done all of it. And we've mostly been just sitting here listening like a rapt audience, which as an actress and as an actor is what you want us to do. You know, we're a rapt audience and you are telling us the tale. It has been beautiful.
And nobody has fallen asleep. When I used to work in theater, the goal was always, especially for a matinee where a lot of the older audience would attend, we were like, okay, the only goal is nobody snores, okay? And that's it.
All right. Any other questions, or should we let this young lady go?
Yes, definitely. She's been a pleasure. You've been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, for having me. I hope you have a really nice Friday night.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
Plug?
And before you go, is there anything you want to promote besides the rest of Peacemaker?
Yeah, I'm the week after Peacemaker finishes, I'm actually in something else that's going to premiere on February 27th. It's called Super Pumped. I don't know if you've seen any trailers for it. It's done by the same team that did Billions, which was on Showtime. Super Pumped is also going to be on Showtime, and it's based on a book that talks about the rise and the fall of Uber and of Travis Kalanick, who was one of the founders. Yeah,
I have seen that. I've seen the ads for that. Yes.
The one with Uma Thurman?
Yeah, Uma Thurman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's a crazy cast. Kyle Chandler, I think Hank Azaria and Fred Armisen. Like it's just like the craziest group of people, and it's also based on very true events. So it's something I never knew about, and so it's a wild story. And almost all of us are playing people that actually exist currently. So it's cool. So check it out. It's gonna be on Showtime, February 27th.
I love Showtime.
Yeah.
Is that a movie or is that a series?
It's a series, 7 episodes. So
7 episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Looking forward to watching it.
So really, thank you for your time, because it seems like you never stop working.
Knock on wood. I hope it keeps going. Yeah. But no, this was really fun. Thank you for asking me.
Oh hey, you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, after Super Pump Rap, we'd love to chat you up about that too.
There you go.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. She was so nice.
She was. I love when they.
She was so pleasant. She didn't call me a dumbass one time.
Oh, you love that dumbass comment. You cherish that comment.
5 years ago.
I do so much. But no, she was not, and she really. I think she enjoyed herself. So that to me tells us we did our job.
And I mean, it's so nice to hear that these people that you see on these shows and stuff are so nice. At least she is.
I'm trying to choke out John Cena. I can't wait.
I know. I can't wait for that either.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, how you do that without wire work? It's like, no, you want to really sell that, you're going to have to do wire work with poor John. It's like, no, we need to put it in his belt loop, lift him up, So they got that 2 inches off the ground.
Well, I was going to say, I wonder if that's what they're doing. And like he starts on the ground and they lift him up with the wire. Like she's lifting him up, with one arm and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, it's...
I can't wait for that. Yeah, her to beat his ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she will. It'll be
oh, yeah. She's the big bad.
I just hope, I hope she gets to it. Or like I said, or she comes back. I mean, honestly, I would love to see her. Like I said, we can have some other character, and she could be Bullock in Gotham PD. She could be Bullock's daughter. There we go. Bullock had a daughter, and she's got the trench coat, and she's just like,
Well, she has a thing for trench coats now. That's tied to her.
There we go. There we go. Just get her a trench coat. She can be Susan Bullock, Bullock's daughter.
Bullock. Come on.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't familiar. I wasn't familiar with her before this series. I am now an Annie Chang fan. Yes. Damn it! I'm gonna have to get Showtime now.
You don't have Showtime?
No, I got HBO.
See, there you go. You get Donald Logue back as Commissioner Bullock in Gotham PD, and you have it as the whole story is just him and his daughter coming up the ranks.
That would work.
I think that works. I think that works.
We just need
Tell HBO to scrap everything they did before this. That's their new show. Just make it happen. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care as long as it could be a completely new character.
Yeah.
All right. So should we get out of here?
Yeah,
I guess so.
A whole other show to do.
No one's here to listen to why she's going.
We're done now. Thank you.
All right.
I guess we'll be back next week to talk new comics of that week.
We want people to come back.
You can bring
just
anything that was important over. You can always bring it over, Lilith. I do that all the time.
Exactly.
It gets confusing.
All right, kid.
I don't like to confuse.
All right, so yes, send us your thoughts. How great was Annie Chang? Hey, anybody else on TV?
Watching Peacemaker? How much do you love that intro?
If anybody else from the show or any other show wants to talk to us, email us capesandlunatics at.
Come on, DM.
Ellen Tudyk, reach out to us.
That's what I said. The casting's good. I would talk to anybody on that show.
They are good. Oh, well, Alan Tudyk's not in this.
No. But yeah. All right. So yeah.
I do love Resident Alien.
I'm just gonna put that in the atmosphere.
I know. I was gonna. You know how much you scared her? All right. So yes, kids, email us.
Mean old man.
Method. All right, kids, email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can follow Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Find links to all the various social medias for all the shows. Links to the YouTube channel. You can watch this episode. There's a video for it. We talked to a famous person. But most importantly, if you can, please subscribe to the Patreon. Once again, we're not a famous actor. Yes, $3 to $5, Love Hellfire. I know. Get you the exclusive content, the early creator interviews, the DG Chichester every month, and only on Patreon. What?
Chichester chats.
That's right. Or only on Patreon, the superhero movie brackets. Find out what's going to be the worst superhero movie. So find everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics.
Come on, Puma Man.
All right, Lilith, where can people find you?
If you guys want to hang with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Twitter at Lil Hellfire. You can find me on Instagram at Lil Hellfire69. And of course, on the TikTok, making the spicy comments at Lil Hellfire69. Shut up and just lay there.
All right, Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in the old-fashioned email way where our mothers and fathers once did do so, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Naomi. What's that, Tuesday nights at 9? That's Charlie Esser. The CHARLIE. Yes, SCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle. For what?
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz.
All right, so yes, again, any famous people who want to talk to us, get a hold of us. All right, yes, but for another week, we have been New York Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Yay.
So wake up. Please come on now when I
Who, me? Remember, kids, from now on we have to root for the butterfly queen.
I was already.
Well, yeah, you. You're always rooting for evil.
It's kind of the plan.
Wait, how much beer did he drink? He's already out.
He did his part.
All right, bro, it's not funny. Thank you, Annie Chang. Good night.